Welcome to aminacademy.com. Now let us see about friction. Friction and introduction. All surface of the body never perfectly smooth. Even if you look and feel very smooth surface, but it is not really very smooth. If that surface is viewed under a microscope, it is found to have some roughness and irregularities which may not be detected by an ordinary touch or by naked eye. A block of one substance is placed over the level surface of the same or different material. A certain degree of interlocking of the minutely projecting particle take place. This does not involve any force so long as the block does not move or tend to move. But whenever one of the blocks move or tends to move tangentially with respect to the surface on which it rests, the interlocking property of the projecting particle opposes the motion. This force is called force of friction or simply friction. Now look at this figure. Here a solid block is lie on a ground and one more block of same or different material is lie over on the surface. Here the surface in between them is shown as little irregularities on there. Even it is more smooth, it is having some irregularities. Suppose if you pull this upper block against the lower block, there is some force is acted between the surface, which is called a frictional force. Now friction is two types. First, static friction. It is the friction experienced by a body when it is at rest. Suppose consider one more body. Here this body is pulled or pushed. Here even this body is not moved. That means our force is not enough to push or pull. There is having some force of friction between the body surface and the ground. So this friction is called a static friction, means the body is not moved, even that the force of friction is there in between the surfaces. Second one, dynamic friction. It is the friction experienced by a body when it is in motion. It is called kinetic friction. The dynamic or kinetic friction is two types. First one, sliding friction. A friction experienced by a body when it is sliding over another body. Means when a body, a first body and second body, which is slide, suppose consider an inclined surface. Here the body is lie over on an inclined surface, but due to friction it is lie over on the inclined surface, but the inclination of the surface little increased. Now the body that is start to slide over through inclined surface towards downward. When it slide, there is some friction between the inclined plane and that body surface is called a sliding friction. Now second one, rolling friction. A friction experienced by a body when it rolls over another body. Consider a road, level road. Here in the level road, consider a car wheel or wagon, whatever it moves, that wheel rolls over the road. Now there is some friction between wheel of the car, that is tire, and the road surface is there. That frictional force acting between this road surface as well as the tire is called a rolling friction. Suppose if there is no rolling friction, the car cannot move, the wheel will slip over the road. Some definition on friction. First one, limiting friction. When a body is lying over another body is gently pushed, it does not move because of the frictional force, which prevents the motion. It shows that the pushing force is being exactly balanced by the force of friction acting in the opposite direction. If we again push the body a little harder, it is still found to be equilibrium. It shows that the force of friction has increased itself so as to become equal and opposite to the applied force. If we increase the pushing force further, when the body tends to move, this maximum value of frictional force that the body tends to move is called limiting friction. Next one, normal reaction. Whenever a body lying on a horizontal or an inclined surface in turns exert an upward reaction on the body, this reaction, which is perpendicular to the plane, is called normal reaction. Third one, angle of friction. Consider this figure, which is an inclined surface is lying on a ground. Now consider a body lying on that inclined surface. Here the R indicates normal reaction between the body and inclined surface, and W, which is downward, is a force, means weight of the body. Now suppose if you want to push the body over inclined surface upward, we need some force. That force is necessary to move the body upward. Now the angle between the ground and the inclined surface is called alpha. Consider a body of a weight W resting on an inclined plane, already explained, shown in figure. This body is equilibrium under the action of the following forces. The body is equilibrium means all forces balanced around that body. First, weight W of the body acting vertically downward. Second one, frictional force F acting upward the plane. Third one, normal reaction R acting at right angles to the plane. Let the angle of inclination alpha be gradually increased till the body just starts sliding downward the plane. This angle is called angle of friction. Here the alpha must be set an limit so that the body tries to slide downward. At that time, the frictional force between the body and the inclined plane is a limiting friction. At that position, the angle of inclination is called alpha. Fourth one, coefficient of friction. It is the ratio of limiting friction to the normal reaction between the two bodies and is generally denoted by mu. Therefore, mu equal F over R, that is further equal tan phi, or F equal mu R by cross multiplication, where phi equal angle of friction, F equal limiting friction, and R equal normal reaction between the two bodies. Now, one more topic we can talk about. The friction is necessary evil. Friction is necessary. If there is anything which moves forward with respect to something else while in contact with it, there is some force between those contact surfaces. It is necessary to that bodies to move with respect to other. Example, walking human, rolling tires, etc. Suppose some frictional force between our foot and ground must be there. Otherwise, we cannot walk safely and slipping possible. Even in rolling tires, suppose tires are worn out, the roads are very slippery, then car cannot move. Means there is some frictional force between them, but it is not enough. So contacts between the two contact surfaces, there must be some limited value of friction. So it is necessary, otherwise we cannot move normally. Friction is evil. If there is external force available, then the same friction slows it down. Example, reciprocating piston in cylinder, driving a car in rough road. Suppose the machinery parts are old as well as rust are formed in between moving bodies, there is difficult to move the machinery parts. So the friction between the moving parts is some limited values, must be limited values. If it is more, so there is some external force, waste of energy must be there. So by that time the friction is evil.